You know, we told you about Comcast this week. Comcast is trying to merge with Time Warner. This is just, and I know this seems really petty when we're talking about other things, but I just want to show you what's happening here. Comcast is trying to merge. It's in front of the FCC. So what does Comcast do? Comcast this week is having a party, a lavish party for the commissioner of the FCC. What? Does nobody even care about the appearance of impropriety anymore? How can somebody, can you imagine? Well, I'm O.J. Simpson, and I may have murdered Nicole Simpson, but I've got a party for that Ito Judge guy. I got a party for him. It's his birthday. What? It's totally unrelated. Are you kidding me? When Christians are being crucified, when the streets of America are on fire and citizens are coming out and saying, you're going to have to shoot me because I have to go tell those people, stop it. Stop it. What are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. Stop it. When citizens are saying, you shoot me if you have to, I'm going to talk to them. Where is the outrage? And I don't mean outrage of go get a pitchfork, go get a torch, go break a window, go stir up more hate. Let's have anarchy, revolutions. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where is the outrage from our pulpits? Where is the outrage from Christians? Where is the outrage, the moral indignation where you say, enough is enough? How many of us are even telling our children what's going on? Last night I sat in bed with my children. And we said our prayers, and I talked to them about the people who are being crucified. Crucified! My son looked up at me with eyes I haven't seen from him before, and he said, crucified, Dad? Like, really crucified? I said, yeah, honey, it's happening all over again. How many of us have even talked to our children? How many of us are even looking at that? We don't want to even think about it. We don't know what to do. So we feel helpless and we tune out. One of the stories that is huge on the Blaze and has been now for the last 24 hours, and it is, you see the guy who was on hold at Comcast for 3.5 hours? 3.5 hours on hold. And then he puts that phone down and says, hang on, I want to make another call. I want to show you. And it takes him about 4 minutes to dial back into Comcast and get all the... And at the end, it says, oh, by the way, everything is closed. So he's on hold. They shut the doors and went home while his guy was still on hold. And what he was trying to do was cancel his service. Oh, I can't cancel your service. It's obscene.
Yeah, they're perhaps the worst company in the nation for customer service.
And they're about to become even bigger. And by the way, their merger with Time Warner, you tell me that this has happened before. Well, this is obscene. They just threw, or are they throwing, you know when it is? They're throwing, Jeffy?
Yeah, they're throwing. There's a couple different parties that this foundation is putting on, so I'm not sure exactly which one that they're paying for, but they are paying for one of them.
Okay, so the one that is for the head of the chairperson of the FCC, Comcast is paying for this gigantic party in their honor. While their review of the merger is being overseen by that person.
They have absolutely, first of all, no shame. Secondly, no fear of this thing not going through.
Fear.
They're so in bed with the people in power.
They've purchased everything. They've purchased everything. If you think your service with Comcast and Time Warner is going to get better, listen to this man's plight.
So I've been on hold with Comcast for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
By the way, this is a much longer conversation. I edited part of it out, so just to make it more palatable for on air. But he's sitting there for a really long time, dialing phones and, going through the whole automated system.
3 hours of that have been on hold waiting for the cancellation department. Watch what happens when I call another phone to that number.
So now he's using his cell phone to call.
Thank you for calling Comcast. Call of Xfinity. Para continuar en español, marque el 9. For quality or training purposes, your call may be monitored or recorded.
Jeez.
Please enter the telephone number, including area code, where you have or want service.
I don't want to show my phone number.
While we process your call. You're at the main menu. If you're having trouble with your service, press 1. For balances, payments, and billing questions, press 2.
By the way, this is for a month of trying to get them to fix
Agonizing.
it.
Doesn't it break you into a cold sweat just listening to this stuff? It just breaks you into a cold sweat of that nightmare of I ever have to call this company.
And he's still on hold on his other cell phone. By the way.
Products, press 4. To remove any of your services or products, press 5. For a question
Guess
about
which
a service, such as a movie channel, or to downgrade your current internet or video package, press 1. If you're not disconnecting all of your Comcast services, but would like to remove a service, such as video, internet, or phone,
Oh my God.
press 2. To disconnect all of your Comcast services, press 3.
Pressing 3.
I'm sorry, but our offices are now closed. Our regular business hours are weekdays from
gosh.
8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturdays.
That's how long I've been on hold.
3 hours and 25 minutes or something is what it ends up being. And they're closed at the end of it.
And this was not the first time he has done this.
No, he said he's been trying over and over and over.
This is his. I mean, it's obscene.
And then
it's really obscene.
Do you remember the situation a couple of weeks ago where the guy was trying desperately to get his service canceled from Comcast on the phone?
Yeah.
Remember, here's a little bit of that just to remind you.
Okay, we'd like to disconnect. We'd like to disconnect, please.
Okay, so why is it that you don't want the faster speed? Help me understand why you don't want faster internet.
Help me understand why you can't just disconnect us.
Because my job is to have a conversation with you about this. I mean, keeping your service, about finding out why it is that you're looking to cancel the service.
I don't understand. Is this
If you don't
for
want to talk
like?
to me, you can definitely go into the Comcast store and disconnect your service there.
Listen to that.
Okay,
We're just asking.
Stop. I can't listen to it. It drives me out of my mind.
I know.
They are now going to be. They are already number 1, and I think Time Warner is number 2. Isn't that right?
Time Warner Cable,
Yeah.
I
So
think
Time Warner Cable
So
and
the top 2 cable companies
are going to merge.
are merging.
Already, Comcast has 30% of the market. Correct, Stu? It's obscene. It's obscene.
Yeah, I think it might be 30 after the merge. I can't remember exactly.
No.
It depends on
could
if
be.
you include satellite providers too. There's a lot of different.
It's like it's
there.
obscene the amount, and this is Comcast, Universal, that's Universal Pictures, NBC, MSNBC, Univision, right?
It's one of those.
I mean, it's one of the Spanish.
Vision or Telemundo.
It's everything. It's giant. Mm-hmm. We have been trying to get on to Comcast for a while, and Comcast said in testimony, if a network has compelling content and our customers want it, we will carry it. But despite Mr. Cohen's assurances of the tens of thousands of calls, emails, posts, tweets asking the Blaze to be added, Comcast tells us adding the Blaze is not a, quote, business imperative. They have more important priorities. This is another example of how they are not listening to you, and they want to get even bigger. It has been suggested to us from multiple sources that Comcast doesn't want to give us space based on political motivations. I will tell you that it is not hard to make that case at all. Let me just say this. Last week, Al Jazeera America celebrated, or is it next week, will be celebrating their 1-year anniversary on Comcast. Comcast carries Al Jazeera America, not because it's compelling content, not because anybody is watching it, but because Comcast owns a piece of Current TV before it became Al Jazeera America. So when Current TV was sold, Comcast cashed out. And after the sale, Al Jazeera America replaced Current TV on Comcast channel lineup, and it continues to be carried by them. Another example of how they just keep their business interests first. Now listen to this. 17,000 people a month tune in. 17,000 people a month tune in to Al Jazeera America, and it's on in 50 million homes. In less than 3 days of asking you to join us at gettheblaze.com and send a message to the FCC that this merger is not in your interest, not in the interest of the public, Al Jazeera has 17 300,000 people a month tuning into them. 3 days, Stu, we've been asking what's the latest number?
Last one I heard was 27,000.
Yeah, no, it's
I just saw
that.
31,000.
31,000.
31,000.
31,000 as of this hour. 31,000 in 3 days have signed a petition for the FCC and be put in the FCC file.
And not signed a petition, actually filled out a form extensively listing why they think it's a bad idea for the public interest, as is required by law for a merger of this size. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's not just like putting my name in or putting in an email address. This is writing, sentences, and many times I've seen some of them have copied them to us, and they're paragraph after paragraph after paragraph as to why this is a bad idea.
So we ask you to join us at gettheblaze.com. We'll have you fill out the form. It goes into the public record. This is not a, hey, sign our petition and we're going to bring it to Washington. No, this is in the FCC public record because the hearings are about to begin. And so those have to be in the public record. I was told that nobody ever gets like 10,000 people to do this. We're at 31,000 in 3 days. We have 2 weeks to do it. I said just the other day, maybe we could get 30,000. Maybe we could get 50. I don't know. Maybe we get 100,000 people to do it. I don't know.
Great.
But there's no way to avoid it. These guys are not afraid of anything. And if you think that your service is going to get better, your choices are going to get better, they're not. If you think it's going to become easier to cancel your subscription to Comcast, Time Warner, you're sadly mistaken because they don't care. They don't answer to anybody. They don't answer to you. They don't answer to the government. They don't answer to anybody. It's not in our interest to have them get bigger. If I could start a cable company myself, I would. You can't. It's government regulated. So this is not a free enterprise anymore.
I think you have to play golf with the president in order to start a cable company.
I think you do too.
Yeah.
Go to gettheblaze.com. Gettheblaze.com.